We're live again. I'm gonna redo the video. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. The DJI Osmos Action 4 just crashed in the live recording. DJI, if you're watching this, why does that happen? I just can't stand it. Now we're back. Camera 1, camera 2. Got my camera back. I wonder what you saw. Hold on. I can tell what you saw by making the camera disappear. Oh, so you just got a desktop. That's fine. Yeah, so this is DJI related. So basically, I got permission from the FAA to fly in a restricted airspace, which was great. Once you get permission from the FAA to fly your drone in restricted airspace, if you have a DJI drone, if you have an FPV drone, I believe you just throw it up in the air and pray that nothing happens. Nothing will happen because there's no remote ID. So you're just flying, you're having fun, and people are like, look at that, what is that? Hello, 911, how may I help you? And I had gotten, speaking of 911, I always call dispatch to make sure that I am good to go. Well, I'll let you guys listen to the call. Let's see, recordings. I believe this was on the weekend when I called. Let's see if I can turn it up. Let's see. Oh, mic's over here, not over there. I hope.
Good afternoon. My name is Lewis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I just have a quick question for you. Is this the right number for it?
Sure.
So I just want to confirm that there's no drone ordinance in Southampton. I do drone photography, and I wanted to take some pictures down near Sag Harbor. I just want to confirm that nothing's changed since the last time I was here.
No, nothing's changed. No.
Oh, okay, great. So that'll probably later in the evening. I want to shoot some drone photography. I got approval from the FAA to shoot within the area for photos.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. It's a small drone. It's like one of those flying pocket camera machines.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd give a heads up and just make sure that there's no town ordinance.
Right. No, not as far as I'm aware. Nothing has
Okay.
changed. Okay?
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
All right.
sure. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
So that was it's calling dispatch, which is the police station, in case you guys don't know. And I always call ahead of time because someone always calls. And what happens is, one time I was flying my drone, and because 911, when you call 911, they have caller ID, and they call you back if someone calls you. They're like, "Where are you with your drone? We just got a call. Oh, I'm on this street." And then one time they just showed up, and they're like, "Hey, we just came to say hello." And to just do the meet and greet. They showed up on their motorcycles, really cool, and they said hello, and that was it. And they just wanted, because even though I called, apparently they still have to show up when someone does call. I guess just why, I don't know. That happened to me once also with the fire pit. One of my neighbors called because I was burning wood and it was wet and it was smoking everywhere, and so they called. The fire department came and lots of trucks, and the police and whatever. And so I said, "Oh, I'm gonna light the fire pit. So let me just call dispatch." They're like, "Hi, this is Lewis." I gave my address. "I'm just gonna be lighting up the fire pit. If someone calls, it's me." And then they're like, "Well, it doesn't work that way." I was like, "What do you mean? I'm just giving you the heads up." It's like, "No, if someone calls, we still have to show up." I'm like, "Oh yeah, but I'm calling you now, so you don't have to." So apparently, even though I'm letting them know, they still have to show up, because I guess what if there was a real fire, right? Or what if it is someone else flying their drone crazily and sporadically? But as long as I know who it is. So moving forward, I got permission to fly. There's no ordinance. It is restricted airspace, which you're not supposed to fly in unless you get the unlock. And this is where DJI, can you help me? You got to help me. All right, because I want to go back, which means in order for me to go back, I have to refile the paperwork with the FAA, and then do the unlock through the DJI Fly Safe, which is really easy to do. I think anyone can do it, but I think you get blacklisted if you don't list up the information. Then you probably won't get an unlock. Or you just buy an FPV drone, or you just get a drone that doesn't require anything. All right, so anyway, so this is what you get from the FAA. I will, let me just go back into my other computer so that you guys can see me, okay? And then I'm just gonna, All right, so this is what you get. So the FAA, basically certificate of waiver and authorization. So you get the authorization, and once you have your authorization, right, you, let me move this over a little bit. Once you have your authorization, you get your paperwork. It says when you can fly. And I applied for this in, I think it was March. So you can apply up to a year ahead of time as long as you have a legitimate reason, like I did. Because there's actually one particular person who wants me to go back and take photos. And I also go there every now and again, and I like flying there. So as you can see, I've been given permission to fly in that circle. And if you watch here, right, on my because I did a screen recording, I'm actually gonna throw that video. See, when you first actually I have to open it, because if you press spacebar it'll just keep playing. So when you first turn on your drone and you have your remote controller, it's not going to let you take off. Literally, you can't, and which is a bummer. But if you do the authorization unlock, you are good. You know, it'll override that, and then the drone will start to fly in the air, right? So let me just move this over so that if DJI is watching, they can see. So I got the authorization zone, right, error, so I unable to take off, which is fine. You'll get your satellites and all that other fun stuff. And so what you got to do is you got to go into your safety, and then you keep scrolling, and then you find your unlock. You got to turn it on, and right, an unlocking type as your polygon in your circle. As you can see, Sag Harbor, right? So you unlock your whatever it is that they let you, then what happens is that red error that you saw is now gone, and it says takeoff permitted, which is great, right? And then it says aircraft in warning zone, airport, whatever, and then you're flying. You're like, oh, this is great. I'm flying in restricted airspace. As you can see, I'm only 70 feet, because you have to take that into mind too, because what happens is there'll be a point where you reach 0 feet, where you can't go off the ground. I think so. I've seen some guys share that they've been able to go, I don't know, maybe 10 feet or whatever, how many feet, 100 feet in 0 feet. So, but I've never asked for authorization to fly in at 0 feet. This is 200 feet, and I'll show you. As you can see, I'm in the docks. I never left anywhere, right? I never left and actually made it into the part of town I wanted to take these pictures in, which is over the bridge, and the only way to, I'll share that in a second after this. So I'm flying. I try to fly into town, and then it says aircraft entered restricted zone, exit zone promptly. So now I can't go in there, because basically what will happen is your drone will get stuck and hover. From what I hear from some stories, there's actually one guy on YouTube sharing his experience about flying in a restricted zone. He accidentally flew into it just by accident, and the drone got stuck in there, and it just kept hovering in the space until the battery died, and then the drone just fell from the sky. And that was my memory. I was like, oh shit, that was my oh shit moment. And I'm like, oh, I can't. So as you can see, I never made it into town. I never made it into the area where I was given. If you look here, my drone is there, and see, oh yeah, it tells you. So I'm inside the polygon. I never even made it anywhere. Maybe 70 feet. Actually, it says it right there. 200 feet from my the distance. That was all I was able to make it. I couldn't even make it into town. So you're only able to fly up and down, and then maybe 200 feet out, and then that's it. And then after that, the drone will activate a sensor or just whatever it is, and then you see, look, and then, well, this is the aircraft pitch angle, because I had to land the drone, because basically I didn't want to lose the drone and hovering in dead space. So then I just lowered the drone again, and then I did a reset. I pushed it back, and as you can see, let me see if we can go back and to see what I did. Authorization zone, hold on. See, I activated the correct one, which is Sag Harbor. See, Sag Harbor is on, and then it shows you inside the polygon when you turn on your drone, and you can't take off. So it's not like you can. It's not like they can say, "Oh, maybe you activated the wrong authorization zone." No, you can't, because it won't let you take off or start. Until you actually activate the correct authorization unlock from DJI, which is sent to the drone. So on that note, we're going up. We're going up. Cops came by. They just waved, which is nice. And I guess it was too cold for them to come out. And so yeah, this time I went out into the water, which is fine, because as you can see, you're not in the forbidden zone when there. And then of course the pitch is too large, only because when you tilt your drone over, and there I am. So in order for me to have flown and do the unlock again, I had to cross the street, walk over, and go into the alleyway of in the back of the restaurant. It was called Que Pasa, really cool restaurant. They come out and they're like, "What's he doing over there?" They didn't care. They're fine. And then, but I was in the public easement, so the public, because you need permission to take off from private property. But if you're on the sidewalk, in public, you can just take off wherever. But you just have to be really good, know what you're doing, because you have wires and telephone stuff and things like that. All right. Which is a bummer, because I really wanted to get this flight and capture pictures of the town and fly. What you do is, when you're flying in the town that's crowded with a lot of people, as soon as you get above your first street, let's say every town has a main street, and as long as it's not like Westwood, where there's an ordinance that says you can't fly over any of the public structures, or you need permission if you're going to fly over a building in Westwood, you need permission to fly over that building. But in a town where there's no ordinance, you can fly over the building. So any town that has a main street, as soon as you're up in the air, let's say at the first building in the corner, you just fly over the buildings and you capture it going that way. And then you fly, and then you go on the other side of the street, and then you fly over the buildings and going that way, and then you capture the images going that way. So you'll always be able to capture Main Street, right? Couldn't do that because the freaking drone was like, "Sorry, you're in an unauthorized airspace. You're gonna be locked out. It's an exit." I mean, what did it say? It said exit pronto. Get out, everybody out. All right, let's see. What exactly did it say? It said, aircraft entered restricted zone. Exit zone promptly. Yeah. And look, I never even left my polygon. I was inside my body. Oh, and another thing, in case you're wondering, maybe he was in the height limit requirements, right? No, I was, believe it or not. I'll share with you that in a second, I think. So Before You Fly app doesn't give you the flight height limitations. So you actually have to use an app called Air Control. Actually, let me activate. What is it called? Looks like it didn't start up. Reflector. Reflex. Don't do it. Didn't even start up at startup. Usually Reflector is supposed to start up at startup after I reboot my machine. I might have to change something in the settings so that all I can do is just swipe down on my phone, and then it'll just appear on the screen. All right, so because when you send your information to the FAA, you have to actually specify where you want to fly. You give the GPS coordinates, etc. And Air Control does that. And there's also another link that I leave in the video where I show you guys how to do the unlock. So anyway, the app is called Air Control, right? So as you can see, this is Sag Harbor, right? And I never even left so the maximum height is 200 feet, right? So if I go here, where is my search button? So as you can see, right about here, there's Cedar Point, there's that. So I was always in the dock. I was always by the water, right? And then let's see. We'll type in Sag Harbor, New York. See, there it is. Voila. See that? If I zoom in, and that's where I was by the docks. See the docks right there? I'll show you guys so you can. Oh, my mouse is here. Right there. See, that's where I was. So I was within the 200 feet limit. Never even went over like 150 because I just tried to like stay within the norms, because I think with remote ID, if you don't follow the rules, it'll ping out, especially if you're in a restricted zone. They probably have sensors. But when I called the airport close by to let them know I'd be flying one time, they were like, what drone? Like, I was like, I'm just calling air traffic control and checking in. They had no idea what the hell I was talking about. This is air traffic control. I was like, what the hell? Like, yeah, I'm just, just trying to get an idea of like, like, no, I really don't. You probably want to talk to the municipality. I'm like, no, this is air traffic control, right? So yeah. And so, yeah, but it was like, it wasn't official. Like, I guess the airport's so small, like they just had no idea about drones and things like that. And there's the bridge. See the bridge? So I was by the docks. So there you go. Sag Harbor. Where's Long Island Avenue? There's the museum. But if you zoom in really close, right? There's Main Street. See, every town has a Main Street. I never even made it to Main Street, right? I just made it to the docks within the 200, and not even 200 feet. So I had to turn back. And I crossed the street, and the unlock worked, but I was only able to go up and down. So it seems like with DJI, if you're in restricted airspace and you get approval from the FAA to fly within the polygon, right? You stay within, and they allowed me to fly further down Main Street, right? Because look, let's shrink that in a little bit. Yeah, so basically all the way down, I could have gone to, I can't really see from here, but further in, I could have gone, oh yeah, I know where that lake is. I could have gone pretty far, but normally you can't go pretty far. With the Mavic 3 you can, because it's big 5 miles out, and apparently you can. I don't know what his story is, but yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I have to share on that note with my flying experience and getting the unlock. I'd like to be able to go back and fly this again. What do you guys recommend? And DJI, this video is for you, because in your last notes when I had experience with the Osmos Action 4 in the comments, which I haven't done yet, I have to reply back, but you said you're there for me, and I'm there for you. I love your products, but the experience is, somewhat challenging and not as fluid as we want them to be, and we need them to be. Remember, I traveled 100 miles to get these pictures, and I wasn't able to fly in the town that didn't have an ordinance and that was okay with me flying, and the cops are like, hi, and the drones like, stay low and do not go. Yeah, so kind of, it's a bummer. So if anyone else watching this video, have you had experience with your drone and the DJI Unlock not working? I think someone said use an Atel or some other drone that just comes automatically unlocked. But I was Googling on YouTube, and I saw some videos that said unlock do the unlock forever. Do the DJI Unlock restricted airspace. Basically, I think there's a hack where you can unlock the drone. I might look into it. If if there is a hack out there, I wouldn't mind doing it. But if you do it, you just make sure you follow the paperwork and do everything with the FAA. So let's say you get the clearance from the FAA to go, right? Then you're good to go. Then your unlock forever hack is good to go. But you just have to make sure that when you are inside your drone, right, you want to make sure Let me just shrink this. Oh, wow, this is a little bit different now. I noticed that, remember we used to have trouble with this before? Now it's actually working better. Anyway, when you're inside your drone, you go into safety, right? So let's say, for example, here the flight restriction is 200 feet. So you want to make, see, I never even make it to 100 and something feet. You want to make sure that you go into your settings, right? And then you go into your maximum altitude. Like you see, you'll see mine in a second because I had set it. I always set it before the flight. Hopefully it shows it in here. Maximum altitude I set to 180. Always leave buffer because there's always a glitch with these apps, as you can see. And so 180 could be 190, right? And 190 could be 210. So just to play it safe. And the other problem I had, DJI, if you're still watching, I had the maximum altitude set to 180 feet. And of course the maximum return home altitude set to 180 also. But so you want to make sure you have that set in coordination to whatever the maximum flight altitude is for your authorization flight in a restricted airspace. But I had this set and it went up to 200. So this didn't even work either, which is crazy. I wonder if that part is in here too, because I screen recorded everything. Let's see. 147, one, and then wait, one. Anyway, there was one point, probably one of the other flights, because I only downloaded these two. And then another issue I have with my drone. This one was with the Avata. There's another screen recording. Which one is that one? This thing. Oh, that one is. We'll just cut that off. Do spacebar. This thing. Oh, this was another flight. So yeah, this was Operation Bridgehampton. As you can see, I had this one I didn't have any trouble with. So the one in Bridgehampton worked out really well. I was impressed. I was able to fly, and there were certain points where it left. A little bit. And there were this one. I got some pictures, but nothing. I was a little bit nervous to fly because you'll see that video.
So you watched that video on the Geo
Zone? Because I was afraid what happened, but it happened on another part of the flight. And so that's why I stayed so close, because I was afraid that I was going to get locked out of my drone, and look at that, I almost did. All right, so anyway, the other issue I was having with the drone is the FCC hack still works, which is great if you have the Avata. And here, now, if you ever get an error that says not using bound device, what you do is you just connect it to your phone and then reconnect the, it'll, like a notification will pop up, and then you just click either bound forever or change, and then this error won't show up anymore. So anyway, so on that note, and moving forward, so let's see, I was able to go really far on this, not using bound device. Let's see. 50 megabytes per second. Look at this flight though. Look how far I was able to go. Check this out. Did I go far? Distance, height. Height I always tried to stay within reason, right? Like almost, well, I almost went 2,000, but look, I'm like 1,200, 1,000, etc. Look at that, it's still maintaining 50 frames per second, and it really does that. It didn't do that with the FCC hack, but check this out. Let's see. Those of you that didn't see the other video, you're probably wondering, like, I'm going to report you to the FAA. Where's your spotter? You're not supposed to, you're supposed to have a visual observer. Screw the visual observer, I don't need one. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, if you look really closely, you'll see that I'm not, unless for all the Karens out there that actually do that. See? There go my spotters. There's me, 1, 2, 3, and 3 other people. And then we all had, see, there I am. You can see me with my sunglasses on. Yeah, so I had some visual observers. We use walkie-talkies though. That's like the best way. Except I was the only one having fun because I'm like, yeah, this is great, and I have the walkie-talkie set up so that when I speak into it, I don't have to press it, so that you just talk. So, but everyone else is like, it's cold, man. Why do we do this? For fun. But sometimes I have another set of goggles that I can let the one of the audiences watch if they're next to me. Because sometimes it's nice, even though I don't like having the phone tethered to the drone, it works out really well when you have the person next to you, and you they can tell you how far you off the ground. So let's say if they say, oh, you're 10 feet, you're okay. Oh, 5 feet, then you move up, or 3 feet, then you know to move up a little bit more. So that comes in handy. The only, oh, there I am. There they go. Yeah, really. I guess I should shut that off because I don't know if they want to be on here. And they it works out really well in that sense, where you have that, where the other person can tell you, you know, how high you are, etc. And but as you can see, I was not. What is this? Where's my mirroring? Oh, screen mirroring. Reflector. We lost our. Hopefully it pops up again. Oh, maybe that's what oh, there we go. What? That's weird. Welcome back to everything. Oh, that's reflector. Wow, reflector had the biggest glitch ever. Wow, you saw that? Let's see what we have here. Reflector. No, I have to launch reflector again. I knew it was too good to be true, but it's all good. I mean, we got the message across that we wanted to get across to DJI, and now we're just there we are. All right, so yeah, that's the height. So anyway, you've got to see DJI. My camera is not working. See, we lost me. Where's Lewis? Scroll up. Webcam. I'm back. So yeah, why does that happen? So DJI, this video is for DJI. Camera shuts off. Drone doesn't stay in the forbidden zone. Doesn't give you authorization to fly when you're supposed to fly. When you get clearance to go. Yeah, it's just, I'm not, I like the experience, but I don't like the experience, if that makes any sense. It's like a love-hate relationship. I love you when you're good to me, and I hate you when you're bad to me. But, this is something that's can be a little bit dangerous too, because can you imagine being in restricted airspace? Let's say someone does the unlock, right? And they do the unlock, and then all of a sudden they fly like that guy from Philly, right? And then they fly into the restricted airspace, and then all of a sudden the drone freezes over traffic, and now you can't move your drone because it's stuck. It gave you the prompt to leave, you didn't leave, and now you're screwed, and the drone's just stuck there hovering until the battery dies, and then all of a sudden falls from the sky, lands in the car, causes a wreck, and then what? But not everyone flies the way I do, wait for the light to change before crossing over, or walk over to the other side of the street just to get like that shot that you want, so you can fly over the buildings. Some people just keep flying. I've flown like that before, but in rural areas, where it's safe, somewhat safe. What is safe, right? But where you could still see the drone, and the minimal risk involved, opposed to flying in a town, which is more risque. Let me just. All right. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, DJI. That's all I got for you. And there was another issue I had, DJI. So apparently with the FPV goggles, gimbal motor overload. So you can change your speed from fast to normal. If I change the speed to fast, this is the error I get. Gimbal overload, which is a bummer. So on that note, we'll just leave it at that. And I hope this video helped you or helps others out there that want to do the DJI Unlock. There'll be a link to that video in the description, or you'll see it at the end at the prompts that say what you can watch next. I'll leave a link to that. There's actually 2 different versions of it. There's the DJI Unlock, the process of geozones, and there's also one of flying in restricted zones. So yes, you can get the okay to fly in the restricted zone, but good luck with that, because put in the back of my mind what could happen, right? And it did happen. And I was able to like think and just shut shit down and, you know, let me just walk over to the other end, doing up and down. So I got some pictures and just trying to know. So hopefully someone else watching this video, hopefully you don't have the experience, but you'll know what to do, which is basically land a drone or be quick and push the unlock to the drone again and pray it takes. And when it takes, use that opportunity to land the drone and bring it back, because it's not worth flying in the restricted airspace that where it will just take over your drone and you're trapped. You're like Han Solo trapped in the ice. It's like, that's my drone right there. And then what I would do, I would probably call 911, right? And then just block off the area for 45 minutes so that nothing, if let's say it landed, if it was hovering in traffic above people, in this case it wouldn't, because as you saw, I was still in the docks, and I went to the alley of the other back of the restaurant and lifted it up from there. But if you were in between traffic, you would have to call. You would have to call someone to stop, to avoid a catastrophe from happening if you're flying the May, because that thing falls on a car, they step on their brakes, and then because they have the oh shit moment, and then pedestrians are walking and crossing the street, you're like, oh no, so it becomes a domino effect, a chain reaction. Or you could just not care and just keep flying and just like, oh well, gotta go, just wait for it to land. No, but that's what you would do if that ever happened. And this is why you get the authorization to fly, so that something like that does happen, you know, you're covered. Because that I think they would have to report an incident like that. Anyway, on that note, good luck to those out there. And DJI, maybe you can fix this with your next firmware update, and let us know in the comments down below. What was your experience when flying in restricted airspace in the forbidden zone, when you were given the okay to go? And did it work? Did it not work? Let us know. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.